How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massa Beer Reviews, back with yet another review. A little bit of double coffee stout, conditioned on coffee beans in the form of Still Hill Brewing. It's their Muga Joe. Yeah, look at that sucker. Yeah, looks like a bunch of dudes I know, to be perfectly honest with you. This comes courtesy of Steven. He dropped this off to me. I was passing through Hartford on my way back from Vermont. And, label's okay. It's got like a tattooed guy. Could be, tattoo artist, could be a barber, could just be your principal at this point. Everybody looks like this nowadays, which is kind of weird because that's the world they lived in for fucking 20 years. And, he's holding a big old beer with a bunch of, looks like I don't know what those are. Are those coffee beans? I mean, to me, they look like macaroons, but I assume they're coffee beans, but yeah, it's all right. You can get down with it. She looks like a coffee stout. I mean, the ABV on this one comes in at 8.2, so she's not tiny. And as far as the story goes, it is starting at 8.2%. The smooth double stout is enhanced with roaster selected beans from our friends at South G Coffee Roasters. The coffee notes are noticeable but not overpowering, and will have you enjoying it all season long. Okay. I kind of like that. A little bit of minimalism there. So she looks like a coffee stout. I mean, nothing too crazy. Doesn't look too thick, too thin. No 5 C's, no 1 C, somewhere in between. Let's see if we can get a nose on her. I mean, she smells like coffee. And she doesn't smell like an overly sweetened coffee. Doesn't smell like a milk stout, but there's a sweetness to it. So you get a little bit of soft sweetness. You get a little bit of kind of bittering from those roasted malts. A little bittering from that coffee. A little bit of soft coffee tones. It's not like a dark roast or anything over the top. It just smells like a nice soft coffee stout, even though she's 8%. Let's dive in. Cheers. Pretty much to a T in the taste. Again, not a milk stout, but there's a nice soft sweetness to it. Super creamy, fluffy mouthfeel. Way above fluffiness that you'd expect at 8 and change. A nice bittering component to it. Both from those roasted malts and that coffee. And that coffee kind of floats through the whole beer. I mean, nothing too crazy. It's not super impactful, even though that coffee's building with... It seems like that coffee's building with each sip. I was going to say, the coffee's building with each sip, and I only took 1 sip, so I was going to sound like an asshole. I'm always going to sound like an asshole, but now I sound like a legitimate asshole because I took more than 1 sip. Yeah, that bitterness kind of builds. That I kind of dig. The mouthfeel's really nice. Is it an 8 and change stout? What everybody would expect from that kind of stout? I don't think so, but I kind of get down with this kind of mouthfeel. It's like very soft, very creamy, very Doppelbock-like, and that is one of my favorite mouthfeels in the world. So I don't care what kind of beer I'm getting it in. It always kind of turns me on, so I kind of like that. It's more bittering than sweet, which also kind of turns me on. But it's probably leaning just a skosh too bittering for me to be like really kind of drinkable and enjoyable. I like it. I dig it. It's coffee expressive, but not coffee over the top. It's beer forward more so than the actual coffee itself. So it's still a beer. It's very expensive coffee wise, but it's just a dollop, just a hair of sweetness. I think would just elevate this and make it a little bit better of beer. It's almost one of those ones where I kind of go, yeah, I kind of wish there was a little bit of lactose in here, or if there is, a little bit more, because I think it would just blend well with the beer. More often than not, brewers get a little bit too heavy-handed when it comes to any adjunct. Coconut, barrels, the whole 9. Lactose is one of them. And more often than not, I get really excited when somebody's a little bit more gentle than everybody else when it comes to lactose. Kind of turns me on. Makes me happy. I like a little bit, show me a little bit of leg, take it away. I don't want you to just shove your vagina or wiener in my face, you know what I mean? Give me a little bit of kind of the dance, a little bit of subtlety. And this one seems like it's like kind of eschewing that just for the sake of eschewing it. And sometimes you kind of champion beers that don't kind of go down that route. And sometimes you just want that thing that most people do, just a dollop of it to kind of make a beer come home all the way. Be a grand slam instead of a stand-up double or a legged out triple. And that's kind of where this one stands. I dig it. I like it. I think it's fun. I think it's expressive. It leans more bitter and sweet. I can get down with that. Not kind of get down with that. But just wish there was just a little bit touch of that lactose in there just to bring a little bit of that sweetness in the head, add a little bit more balance to it, and I think it would be an absolutely fucking phenomenal coffee stout. Let's talk about it. It's one of the better coffee stouts I've had as of late. Even with all that in mind, it's still worthy, absolutely worthy of being in the conversation. Just not going to eat towards the top. Value and availability, I have no idea. Never heard of the brewery before. Maybe Steven or somebody up there in the old New England area can let me know what's what and leave you with, if you like what we like this. If you like coffee beers and you think most of them skew sweet, you're going to get, it's not sweet beer. There's sweetness there, but the bittering trumps that. So if you want something that's a bit more on the bittering side, a bit more coffee-like, if you will, without the cream and sugar, even though there's a little hints of that, this is going to really do you. So there you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massive. You want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully enjoying a nice little Muga Joe right now. And hopefully see you next time. Cheers.